When you are a brand new coach and you are just starting out your journey, maybe your clients are few and far between, maybe you haven't booked any consults in a little while, how do you believe that it's actually working? That your success is actually inevitable, and that result that you want so badly is actually on its way? How do you actually create unwavering beliefs and truly intentionally believe and think these things, even when it feels like the evidence is pointing to the contrary? In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to believe, how to trust that your result truly is on its way, and the answers may actually shock you. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good one. Let's dive in. I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration, and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the Social Reset Podcast. I'm so excited for this episode because I think it's something that is so common among new coaches, coaches that have been in business for a while, or really anybody who's running a business. And it goes beyond business as well. I think that this is something that we all experience anytime we set a goal or want to see results in our life, and especially get tested when we think that things are not working. So today we're going to be talking about how to believe that it is working even when you don't see the results that you want or the results that you desire in the end, and where you can choose to see and hold that belief regardless. So I first want to talk about this idea of belief. I think that when we apply it to business, it becomes fantastical and big, but we believe and we hold belief every single day. We trust that we're going to wake up tomorrow. We make plans with our friends months and months down the line, just assuming that we're going to show up and do it and be there, right? We trust the sun is going to come up. We trust the sun is already up once we wake up sometimes. We trust that, if something happens to your best friend, they're going to text you. You're going to get a text from them. They're going to communicate with you. They're going to let you know what's going on in their life and spill the tea, right? There's so many things that we trust is just going to happen. And when it comes to our businesses, when it comes to being a brand new coach doing something completely different, it's because it's so different that we have a really hard time trusting that it's working, or trusting that our belief is something that we can continue holding on to. So I want to challenge you to recognize and to believe that belief is strengthened the most when you do not have evidence to believe. I'm going to say that again. Your belief becomes strengthened the most when you do not have any evidence in front of you to believe. A lot of the time, we are trusting that there is invisible, behind the scenes evidence that is happening in the background, among the noise that we can't see, that we may not know of, and we're trusting that that is just what is happening. And let me explain what I mean to you by this, by when I say invisible behind the scenes evidence. So at any given time, when you're posting and you are showing up in your business, you are possibly taking action. So, whether that is posting to your Instagram, talking to your friends about your business, letting people know what it is that you're doing as a brand new coach, and along the sidelines, say like you're giving yourself this. So on the sidelines, there's chatter happening, right? You might think that there isn't because a lot of things happen without notifying you first, such as people possibly having conversations about hiring you as a coach to their spouse. Maybe they're starting to save up money. Maybe people are watching your content and watching your videos, but they're not commenting. They're not messaging you. They're not saying anything. This happens all the time. And I talk about it all the time to my students and to all of you on my podcast because it's so true. Just because we don't see that initial comment or message or view or like or whatever it is doesn't mean that there aren't people that are lurking on our shit. Like it truly is something that happens constantly. And we often don't see the evidence of this because a lot of it happens very silently and a lot of these decisions are made internally. So for example, you just started your coaching business and you give yourself this wild ultimatum of, okay, if I don't book my first client within the second month, I'm just going to give up on this business and continue working my corporate job or my day job, whatever, right? So you give yourself an ultimatum. What if you're starting to post, you're starting to build up momentum, you are starting to do all of the right things and continue or starting to believe in yourself, but then you give up and a client was in the middle of saving up money to work with you and they just needed to save another $100 and they would have been able to work with you. And say you gave up and someone was literally about to reach out the week after for a consult. They've just been on vacation, right? And then say you gave up, but a friend of yours was having lunch with one of their close friends and your name came up in conversation because their friend is looking for a life coach or a relationship coach or a business coach, right? There's so many things that happen on the sidelines that we may never ever know about. And you could challenge me in saying, okay, sure, but what if those things aren't happening? What if the 10 likes I got in this photo or the, 0 consults that have been booked in the last month are telling me a different story, right? But again, those are still just thoughts that you're having. They are still just thoughts that you are having in your brain. You're making something mean something about you as a coach. You can choose to say, okay, maybe I haven't had a consult booked this month, but last month I had 2 consults booked, or I've had 1 consult booked. And I know if I can have somebody decide to book a consult with me, then someone else can make that same exact decision and go through with it, right? Someone else can make that same decision and choose to work with me. There's always a way that you can reframe a circumstance, a event or experience into serving your highest good. And this is honestly the most difficult part of entrepreneurship is continuing to see the good and really holding that faith, even if you are the only one doing so. I think that it can be really easy for other people to jump in and look at how you're running your business and what you would do and what they would do differently and all of the unsolicited advice that you get as an entrepreneur. But truth be told, you are the one that's in charge. You're the one that sees the vision. You're the one that holds the magic. You are the one that the magic chose in the first place. And so you have to trust that you know what you're doing. You have to trust and believe that it is working and that you're choosing to see the positive, serving invisible results rather than the non-serving invisible results. Okay? Because you can also say to yourself and think to yourself, nobody's talking about me. Nobody is booking consults with me or thinking about booking consults with me. Nobody is saving up to work with me, right? Whatever you end up choosing to believe is going to end up driving you to one result, the one that you want, or another result, the one that you do not want. So if you have the power to choose the thoughts and the invisible results, why don't you choose the ones that are going to end up serving you at the end of the day? And you might be thinking, okay, Tiffany, that's really easy for you to say, but you don't know me. You don't know how my brain works. You don't know how much negative self-talk that I have going on a daily basis, right? You might see it as really, really challenging in a way that you've never been able to identify for yourself before. Maybe you are someone that's dealt with a lot of self-doubt. Maybe you're someone that's dealt with a lot of disappointment and you want to do everything that you can to avoid disappointment again. What I want to say to you is buckle up. You're gonna experience a lot of self-doubt and you are going to experience a lot of disappointments. And I say this as someone who hates the feeling of disappointment and hates the feeling of self-doubt, so much so that I had to partner with two of these emotions specifically and recently, and had to sit for minutes on end just letting my body feel these emotions through in order for them to be processed and released. Like, imagine me sitting on my couch on the verge of tears, sometimes actually crying, depending on the situation or how upset I am, and just sitting there imagining what disappointment would look like. By the way, to me, it's gray and it feels very, it feels kind of like concrete. It's like very, very rough, like a very hard, rough exterior. Sitting and seeing how that shows up in my body, in my life, what it would say to me, what it feels like, and actually creating a space in my body for disappointment to live and allowing it to be comfortable there and saying, hey, you can stay here as long as you'd want to. Right? Versus pushing it away the very moment it tries to walk in through the door. And this is honestly a huge secret to being successful, is learning how to feel and process your range of emotions instead of pushing them away the moment they try to pop up. Because emotions at the end of the day are just vibrations that are just carrying a message that our body wants us to know. And that's it. And because they feel uncomfortable, because they make us want to cry and experience other emotions that just are not pleasant, they're not the fun, good feeling, serotonin boosting emotions, they get cast away. And so I had to learn to talk to disappointment when it would show up in my life and say, hey, I'm sorry for pushing you away. I'm going to leave space for you. When you come up, I'm going to be okay. No one's going to die. Might be a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to sit through it and I'm going to create a space for you and you can show up. And that doesn't mean that this is not some fun reverse psychology where then disappointment never shows up or it never bothers me again. I'm serious. I really mean it when I say it is okay for disappointment to show up. And guess what? It does. But it doesn't freak me out and consume me in a way where I'm running the other direction, looking to escape instantly, looking to not feel anything, looking to numb myself, looking to not talk about it or pretend it's not there. I'm partnering with it and going, hey, sit down, have a seat. How are you? I am allowing disappointment to have a I am allowing disappointment to have a room in my house. I'm allowing disappointment to have a seat at the table. And the reason that I'm doing this is, and it can feel very scary because it's like, well, what if disappointment never leaves? What if disappointment overstays its welcome at my house? But truthfully, I've been able to still feel my range of emotions, but this time when disappointment comes up, I'm not as scared of it. And it's helped me process this emotion so much more so that I don't explode or erupt with it next time it comes around. So I would encourage you next time you feel a feeling that's uncomfortable, doesn't feel good, you want to wish it away or you want it to leave you alone completely, I would challenge you to sit with it and feel the full extent of it. Just sit there with it, maybe close your eyes, maybe stop what you're doing for a second and just let it move through your body. Don't try to force it away. Don't try to think happy thoughts and hope that it just wishes itself away. Just feel it. If it is a rock in your stomach and it's sinking, if it's tightness in your chest and it's building, if it's something in the back of your throat, or maybe your head starts to pound, or your heart starts to pound, or your palms start to sweat, just let it. And I think that when you let it and when you allowed the essentially the quote unquote worst to happen, your body and your brain is like, oh, wait, that wasn't that bad. I didn't actually die. And you remind yourself how strong you are and that these emotions are just vibrations and sensations inside your body, albeit very uncomfortable sensations sometimes. And sometimes the sensations really do make us feel like we're going to die, right? The extreme despair, the very, very unpleasant and surprising guilt or shame or discouragement, right? It sometimes does feel like we're gonna die, or that something horrible is about to happen. But when you allow room for these emotions, the more they feel safer being in your body, and the more you remind yourself that you are safe, that you can feel anything and that you're safe, and that anything can happen and you're safe because you are rooted and grounded in who you are. So, this is a really, really big component and a really big piece to believing that it's working, because you get to regulate your nervous system by doing this, by practicing these exercises. That way, when you don't see results happening, or when you are on this journey of believing that it's working, because I'll tell you right now, it doesn't typically happen overnight. It is something that you have to build over and over and over, and then sometimes remind yourself of over and over and over as a business owner. It comes with a lot of emotions, it comes with a lot of ups and downs. It's a very normal, common human thing. And the more we try to shame ourselves out of it or guilt ourselves out of it, saying, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or I should know better, or I thought I passed this, part in my business, or I thought this is just what beginners do, or maybe you are a beginner and you're like, I thought this should be easier, or I thought I should have believed faster, whatever our brains tell ourselves when it's in asshole mode, that cloud our thoughts, our thinking, our belief system. So I just want to remind you that this is a really powerful technique to keep in mind as you are growing your business and as you are experiencing the range of emotions that you are going to experience. At the end of the day, as a business owner, you're going to experience disappointment, you're going to experience self-doubt, you're going to experience sadness, you're going to experience so much joy, you're going to experience so much pleasure, but you also cannot take the joy and the pleasure without the disappointment, because guess what? Those uncomfortable emotions and those gaps in your belief and those times where you don't get what you want right away, that forces you to then learn. It forces you to realign or build even stronger belief in yourself. And it forces you to then become the person that you need to become in order to call in that result. And this gets to be a really powerful part of growing your business because there's so much that's happening energetically that your body and your brain might not be able to pick up on. That when you are able to truly hold space for your emotions and your belief system and really be able to challenge yourself as the universe challenges you, it's kind of like when you don't get what you want, the universe is helping you build this belief and trust in yourself and recommit to yourself and recommit to the result. It's kind of like a nudge saying like, hey, how bad do you really want this? Why do you want this? It strengthens your desire for the result. And sometimes it lights a fire underneath your ass, helps you discover maybe several whys as to why you even want it. And then also helps you to tap into the feelings that you desire that will bring it right now. This is a really big thing to recognize, especially if you're a brand new coach, you're a new business owner. So many people come and join BAA and they're like, yeah, I'm going to feel successful once I book my first client, or I'm going to feel like a good coach once I've worked with, say, 5 clients, 5 one-on-one clients, right? And very, very soon after, they realize that the results are not what brings the emotions and the feelings. You can book 10 clients, and if something happens, if you get a couple of no's on consult calls, you might start thinking that you're not a good coach anymore because your results were bringing and bridging that emotion for you. You weren't rooted in it with conviction. You weren't in the time when it wasn't working, telling yourself and believing wholeheartedly that you are a coach, that you are a great coach. This is also what someone that would make an ultimatum would say. Oh, if this isn't working in 2 months, I'm going to go back to my corporate job, right? An official, actual coach that loves what they do would be so rooted in it that they would make it work no matter what. They would not give their business ultimatums, right? And especially when you're brand new, I look at it as having a baby and having like several older siblings and a whole family and expecting the brand new baby to then support and take care of the entire family, or putting, your business on puppeteer strings and expecting it to perform for you, to feed your ego and to make you feel good. It's not what your business is here to do. And if you're really connecting to the spirit of your business, I truly believe that your business is alive. It wants to co-create with you and partner with you and has your best interest in mind and supports your genius and chose you. I believe that if you partner and have conversations with the spirit of your business, it's not going to support that way of thinking. You have to strengthen your belief system first and not rely on your business to make you feel good or to prove something to your parents or to prove to them you dropped out of college and now you have a brand new business that you've finally decided on after trying 3, 4, 5 different things, and you're trying to prove to them that this is the one, that it's really going to work. Right? It's like bringing a brand new boyfriend or partner or whatever back to your family after like 2 dates and going, this is the person I'm going to marry and I want everyone to be on board, right? It's like it's you trying to prove something to other people when really that's only happening in the first place because you don't believe it yourself. You wouldn't try so hard to defend a partner or defend a decision that you've made if you were really so strong in your conviction in it being the best fit decision for you or the best fit partner for you. You would just be like, whatever. If they don't see it, if they don't support me, I don't care. I'm going to end up doing it anyway, right? It's like if, like, God forbid, your friends and family don't support the person that you're dating for some very small reason, and like a very superficial reason, it's not going to stop you from marrying and eloping with the partner of your dreams, because you see the good in them and you know that they're not this person that your friends and family think they are. This is not a good example, because if all of your friends and family really don't like a person, like, maybe listen to them. But I'm just saying, in this case of, if you are so strong in your belief and you feel it with every fiber of your being, you want to be able to not give in to a comment or criticism from other people just because they don't hold that same vision that you do, especially when it comes to business, because I believe that the spirit of your business and your secret sauce chose you to be the physical incarnation of your magic, of what it is that you're meant to bring to the world, your medicine. I believe it chose you because you have a unique vision that is not in the world yet, and is the reason why your mom doesn't see it, because she wasn't given that reason, is the same reason that your uncle doesn't see it, or your sister doesn't see it, because they weren't given that vision, right? I think that you are shown something because you are the perfect person to take action, and you don't need everyone to be on board in order for you to take that action as a brand new coach. So that's really what I want to offer you, is really choosing to see that there is belief everywhere. Choose to see the good and to feel the good, and to allow yourself to see all the signs pointing to it's working. Again, you have trust. You're going to wake up tomorrow. You already have an entire schedule laid out. You have no idea if you're going to wake up or not. You have no idea if the sun's going to come up or not, but in your head, it does. You trust that your best friend's going to text you back and spill the tea when you guys have your catch-up call on the phone, right? You might even trust that if you have a day job, that your next paycheck is going to come, and that somehow brings you safety and security, even though there is no guarantee of that, right? There truly isn't. But there are certain things that you have found security and safety in. And so I would challenge you to bring those same emotions of security that you have created in other areas of your life, and see how you can start bridging the gap towards what it is that you actually do want to create. What is it that you haven't created in your life yet? Maybe that is a successful coaching business, or a specific result that you want to work towards. What is it that you want to choose to think and show up, and the person that you want to be, the person you want to embody? Does that mean partnering with an uncomfortable emotion? Maybe one that you've been avoiding for some time that doesn't feel good to you? And what are the things that you're going to choose to believe that's happening behind the scenes that you can't see, that you don't know is happening? What are you going to choose to tell yourself? And what are you going to choose to tell yourself 3 days down the road, after maybe you're listening to this episode and you're on high and you're so strong in your belief, and then 3 days down the road someone makes a comment, or you get really stuck, or you feel like, oh, okay, I don't know if this is working. What are you going to choose to tell yourself then? Because guess what? Our human brains sometimes have amnesia and forget and need to be reminded. And especially if we're rewiring our brain, which takes time. This is what I coach my students on all the time in BAA. You have to be reminded, you have to be coached, because again, we're human. We are human beings. If we had perfect belief and things were able to turn around instantly and we were able to change our lives overnight, everyone would do it. And it's not that that doesn't ever happen. It's that for most of us who are human, that have conditioning, that have been a part of families that have had very scarcity or lack mindsets because they did the best they could with what they had, or we grew up, in none of us are exempt from the systems of supremacy and patriarchy and industrialism. There's so many things that have hindered us from becoming our highest and truest and most powerful and potent selves. So I want you to give yourself grace and compassion and empathy during this time as you continue working towards your results and as you continue believing that it's working. Because again, whatever you end up telling yourself, whether it's working or it isn't working, your brain is going to find all of the evidence to support that. So you might as well tell yourself it's working, your manifestation is on its way, and your success truly is inevitable.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.